You're listening to Comedy Central.
Everybody, welcome to the Jim Jefferies Show podcast. It's the Jim Jefferies Show podcast. It's like, the podcast, but it's about the Jim Jefferies Show. What do you think of that intro, Forrest?
That was very similar to the other intro.
Oh, go fuck yourself. All right, now, I'm going to do my upcoming dates because I get told I have to do this all the time. May 18th at Tenniel Hall in London, Ontario. Not the real London that everyone enjoys, the Canadian London. May 19th, Ontario Concert Hall in Hamilton. Isn't that weird? Because I'm in Ontario and then I'm in Ontario. The concert hall. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Just brought me a quesadilla in Canada.
No, we can't eat on the podcast.
Everyone loved it last week.
Nobody loved it.
The roast beef sandwiches, they were very good. I'm at Clusterfest Comedy and Music Festival, June 1st to June 3rd in San Francisco. Get tickets at jimjeffries.com. Forrest Shaw, would you like to introduce our guest for us?
We have a lot of guests today.
We have some great guests. This may be our most guest-heavy thing. I'm going to eat a quesadilla while you do it.
Why don't you eat your quesadilla while I introduce the guests? You've got about 2 minutes to eat your quesadilla. Our first guest today, you just shot the pilot? Is that it? It says pilot?
It's it's on Comedy Central.
Oh, yeah. Man Up for Comedy Central. Which it's Theo Vaughn is our first guest. And I'm trying to read that, but that isn't exactly user-friendly there. Which Vaughn described as a documentary-style show focusing on men bettering themselves. And his album, 30-Pound Bag of Hamster Bones. Please welcome Theo Vaughn, everybody.
Theo Vaughn, everyone.
Praise God.
All right. Our other guest has over 700 million views online, and she's prepping for an international tour. Give it up for Nicole Arbor.
Nicole Arbor, everyone.
Praise God.
Now, I want you to read the bio of our next guest.
I don't have the bio. I just know.
Because we're just shitty comedians. We have a rock god on with us this evening.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The founder, and the lead guitarist of Slayer, Kerry King.
Kerry King!
Let me tell you, I was trying to.
That was unscripted.
Yeah, I know. That's all I know. That's all I have. But I did look up.
Forrest was going to go, several albums did well.
Yeah. Never heard of them, but I did when I pulled up the Wikipedia. It says since 1981 to the present. So you were 16 when you started, or
17?
17. Holy
17.
Shit. And so in a couple of years, you guys will have like your 40th anniversary. Basically, am I doing the math right?
Well, yeah, you are.
So what I want to know is, did you bother finishing high school?
Yeah, I did.
Did you go to college? You didn't go to college.
No,
Fuck
I was busy touring by then.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider like quitting touring and going back to college?
Yeah, did you ever get your dick sucked from like 3 women and think to yourself, if only I had a degree?
That's a good argument against it.
Yeah, bro. Did you ever want to give it all up and rush a fraternity?
I think my dad wanted me to check some different avenues. But,
did he? And where's your dad now?
I was pretty hard-headed. My dad died this year, actually.
Way to go.
Good work, Theo.
He did well,
good work, Theo.
Well, I'm saying.
Why don't you just bring up the Kennedy assassination and fucking leave?
My bad, man. I can easily do that. It's my finishing move during sex.
Why don't you blow your cum into the back of the woman's head?
Oh, my God. That was once, and we said we weren't going to talk about it.
Actually, Lee Harvey Oswald we went to the same middle school. Me and Lee Harvey Oswald. True story.
Really?
Yep.
Same year or?
No, different years. He's I don't know what year he died or lived.
I can tell you he's around the 60s.
Yeah.
He's definitely alive in the 60s. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't alive in the 70s. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that.
Yeah.
Is Jack Ruby still alive?
No.
What happened to Jack Ruby? Did he
but
die in prison, or what happened to Jack Ruby?
I'll tell you right now, but Jack Ruby.
I don't know what happened to him.
Wasn't he?
Jack Ruby's the guy who killed Lee Harvey Oswald.
I know he is.
That's why part of conspiracy is like, why was he trying to shut him up? Was it the mafia did the hit? Was he like a person who, you know what I mean?
Have sex with women.
But wasn't he killed right after that too? Wasn't he?
Who was it?
No, Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't killed twice.
No, Jack Ruby. Wasn't Jack Ruby killed?
No,
right
Jack Ruby went to prison. I think he died in prison.
He died in 1967, at the age of 55. He was sentenced to death, later appealed, he granted trial.
It's not accurate.
Yeah,
And,
agreed, Forrest. What are you doing?
He became ill in his prison cell and died of a pulmonary embolism and lung cancer.
Like
That's
that.
not- those aren't real words.
So to sum up, Jack Ruby's not alive.
That's it.
Anyway, so we did a TV show today. We did a show called The Jim Jefferies Show, which is named after me and other people in the world called Jim Jefferies. And the show this week consisted of, the first thing we talked about North Korea and the summit that happened is about to happen in North Korea with Donald Trump's going to talk to Kim Jong-un. Not to be mistaken with Kim Jong-un, his indecisive brother.
Well, there actually was a summit that did happen between North and South Korea, and that's
You like that one, Theo? That one tickled you?
Yeah, that one's a good one. And if you don't get it at first and then you get it like a second later, it's still really good.
Kim Jong-un, yeah, it's still good. There's people in their car right now that are holding up traffic.
Oh,
they're enjoying that joke so fucking
not
much.
yet, because we haven't released the podcast yet, so it won't be.
Wow, Buzz
Oh,
fucking
God. Buzzkill short.
Tonight, and then
Jesus.
tomorrow we'll edit it, and then tomorrow people will be in their car.
Drac, give me an alcoholic beverage,
Okay.
Jack. Make it an exciting beverage. Mix it for me.
So,
Before we go on, Jack Hackett, who we pick on in the show and in my general life, who's my assistant, Jack Hackett has brought friends. Now
Yay.
they feel like crisis actors.
That's true, dude. Some of these guys definitely some straight up David Hogg.
One of them's David Hogg.
Wow.
Jack, are these your friends? How long have you known these cunts for? 4 years? 4 years? So since you were 11.
do you know what's happening next Friday with Jack?
What's happening next Friday with
His
Jack?
first pew.
Briss?
Yeah.
All possibilities, but
Yeah, he's getting his circumcision.
also
They decided to do it early.
could be. That's also a good answer. He's graduating from college.
You're graduating from college.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. That's why you've been wearing the gown and the square hat all day. What do you graduate? I didn't know you went to college.
Why don't you give some advice to Karen from Slayer?
What is the degree you're going to do that you're graduating from? Just speaking to Cole's.
It's critical studies in the film school.
Critical studies.
What does that mean?
What the fuck does that mean?
What does that even mean?
That
Critical
sounds like
studies.
a waste of money.
I think guitar sounds better.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does that mean, though? What do you?
Yeah,
what do
pick
you,
up a guitar, dude.
Basically, the major is we watch.
By the time Kerry was your age, he was a man.
Yeah, bro.
He's on tour.
Critical studies of what, bro? You gotta change your life, bro.
Yeah.
Do some concrete or something. Do something where you
As
gotta
you
change.
get your degree, I want you to say, I regret everything. Okay, so critical studies. Are these your mates from Critical Study High?
Yeah, they're all from critical study high.
That sounds like a horrible TV.
Yeah, it's you're Canadian, Nicole.
True.
Right, the only show you've ever had is Degrassi.
And it's fucking awesome.
I
Not that
know.
good.
We have a Canadian writer on the show called Jason Whitehead, and his email is like something blah, 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 blah. And then we went, what the fuck is wrong with your email? And he goes, it's a reference from Degrassi Junior High. Like that, right? They're fucking
Yeah,
Canadians.
your fan base is like predominantly Canadian right now.
You were late to my show because you were letting every other fucking car go in front of you. You
It's
fucking
true.
Canadians.
I have to be polite. Fuck you.
Oh, wow. No one ever said I have to be polite. Fuck you. That seems like an oxymoron.
I did. What'd you call me?
No, an oxymoron. I said you're an ox. It's a moron. No.
I like how Jack's lingering behind there still because he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
Like
because for the
You're a
people
rapist,
who are
bro.
listening, Nicole is what you call attractive. We can all agree on that. We're saying that's not. I'm not me tooing the situation, but Nicole's a good-looking woman, and Jack doesn't know what to do. Like he's
standing behind her,
He spoke on a
lurking.
microphone, and now he's like, "I'm never going to clean these lips."
Jack's mom invited me to a dinner.
Oh, let's talk about fucking that. So last week we had an episode where we had a racist teacher on the school, and we thought it'd be funny. It was just an actor. It was one of our writers, and
There was an actual teacher that in San Antonio that gave an assignment to list the pros and cons of slavery.
the pros and cons
Yeah.
of slavery. We thought that was funny. We thought that was funny because how could there be any cons?
Right. If slavery even happened.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
They never
Anyway,
found the boat.
so what happened was we decided to name. We did a sketch with an actor, Lucas, who works with us, and we decided to do a sketch where we named the teacher Jack Hackett, and Jack's mother got upset by this.
And she called me up in the middle of work, and she doesn't even say hello.
The middle of work.
Middle of work.
What was that? 9 to 9:15.
Rush hour. But she called me, and without even saying hello, she goes, "Why did Jim do that to you?" I went, "It was
You
funny
tell it's because I don't like you and I'm cruel. No, I'm just joking. I love you, Jack. Give me a drink. Anyway, continue on.
First, my parents bought a bunch of Coke bottles and put a bunch of people's names from the office on it and sent it in, and it's in the globe over there.
What?
Really? I didn't know about this.
Jack has a reveal.
Wow.
Oh my! Oh!
There's the Jim.
There's a Jefferies Coke bottle.
Oh, wow.
It says
I got one.
Jefferies on it.
Wow.
This may be the greatest moment in my life, and I have a child.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hank.
There's one for Hank.
All right, we have all these Coke bottles here with our. I got one for us with 2
All
R's.
right. You gotta admit, that's pretty fucking cool,
That's
man.
I gotta tell you, when I was a kid, they had the keychains and the mugs and names. I never had anything because there's never had any for us. I'm gonna cry now.
Yeah, when you went and saw those
Not
number
gonna cry,
plates
kidding.
where they put all the names and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
went
yeah.
through your fucking name, there was never a forest.
Never, but my mom let me look. She always just let me look, even though she knew I wasn't gonna find one. She was just like, "I'll let you do it, so you can." Not to be mean, just be like, "I don't want to like burst your bubble."
If I do that-
F G, and there was like nothing there.
That's my son's full name in Coke.
What are their names?
Which is weird because I've actually sketched out his name in Coke before.
Oh, look, there's the show. There's the show, Jim Jefferies show.
Like, you know the irony of this? If there wasn't Coke, I wouldn't have a son.
Yep.
I've been there, man.
All right. It took a long time, but my cock was broken. I came eventually. So we talked about North Korea.
Yeah, it's not as impressive as these Coke bottles, but we'll get back into it. So
Hey, his mother spelt your second name wrong.
that's for the.
Oh, the Jim Jefferies show. Oh, that's very. Oh, I see.
Yeah, it spells out the Jim Jefferies show, not
I
Shaw.
thought it was short. The Jim Jefferies show. You
Yeah.
lined the bottle. Anyway, so we
That's
spoke about
good.
North Korea. Okay, so for any of our listeners who are listening to the show who aren't aware of the news, it turns out North Korea isn't doing their best work. And
Well,
there's been some issues. They've got a leader that's not doing well. And our president, Mr. Donald Trump, is going to meet with Kim Jong-un. And so we speculated how that meeting might go. And our speculation was we still don't fucking know. We don't know if it's going to go well or it's going to go badly or whatever. I'm personally, because we bashed on Donald Trump so much on the show, I'm personally, look, if he fucking nails this, I will give him credit. If he goes there and all the nuclear weapons are fucking chucked into the whatever Korean ocean, is that an ocean?
Yeah, that's how you dispose of nuclear weapons. Throw them in the ocean.
Well, look,
Put them in a trash bag and throw them over a cruise ship.
if I've learned anything from Superman 4, it's that Superman will get all the nuclear weapons and put them in a net and then swing them around until he smashes them into the sun.
That is a good point.
Which is the way that we denuclearize. Now, all of Jack's
Energizes
friends,
the sun,
you're
too.
all,
It's
you're
a
all
win-win.
looking at me like I'm an old man. Christopher Reeve was a very important person in my childhood. I don't like him from Superman. I like him from the music video Don't Worry, Be Happy with Bobby McFerrin.
Was he in that?
He is.
That's like a weird reference.
It's him.
That is an
It's
incredibly weird reference.
it's in the film clip was Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams because they were roommates in college when they studied acting, and then they did the Bobby McFerrin song "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and then Robin Williams killed himself. And then a horse killed Christopher Reeve. But I feel like we're getting off the topic.
He
A little
got paralyzed,
bit, just
but
a little bit.
It seems kind of North Korean to me.
yeah. It's right in the fucking wheelhouse right here. Yeah,
All
Bobby
Right, so I
McFerrin.
feel like we're coming off the thing. Now,
Bobby
Kerry,
McFerrin's going to North Korea. to sing to
Kerry,
Kim Jong-un.
I have to ask you this very quickly, and it's what all of our listeners want to know. How many times have you toured North Korea?
None times.
Okay,
South Korea? Have you guys been to South
You've been to
Korea?
South
South-
Korea, we've been once. We played Seoul.
Oh yeah, soul music's good.
Yeah, that was weird, dude. It was like
Yeah, what was it, man? What was that like?
90s, and then we never got asked back.
Oh, you never got us to get back.
What did it seem like? You're like real Korean or like just regular or what?
What Asian country likes you the most, Kerry?
Well, we've only done Japan other than that.
So Japan.
So Japan.
China won't have us because we have too many political songs.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it always comes up and it gets shot down like a week before we go.
How do they know what you're saying?
Translate?
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Jim
great
had me
that
on
somebody
that.
in China is listening to your music in a government office and just like having to translate it.
It
Yeah.
has to be
Yeah.
arcade.
No, I know, but
It's
it's
not
just
like the promoter can just say, "Hey, I'm bringing Slayer over."
I don't know why.
We have a song called
Anyway.
Blood Red that they're not real fond of because it was about Tiananmen Square.
Yeah.
And China's not big on that.
They
Yeah,
probably
sure.
wouldn't like that.
Many of my pairs of underwear look like a Japanese flag, so there's that.
That doesn't help me get there.
A little bit of lube, man.
Hemorrhoids.
No, it's just hemorrhoids. Nothing to do with lube.
My bad.
Yeah. Well,
so.
actually, you're good for caring.
Thank you.
So we talk about North Korea, and things are happening over there. It's not a big deal in our world. Either they bomb us, they don't bomb us.
I like when you
Anyway.
wrap up topics. So we talked about North Korea. There's that, and no big
did at
deal.
all.
Death, destruction. Next topic. That's a. Yeah, it's. I agree with you. I mean, it's funny because it's almost like I feel like people are rooting against Trump. Like even though this would be a good thing.
Yeah, because the people who hate Trump, and we haven't been complimentary about the guy, but the people who hate Trump are just like, he fucking does shit. Look, I want him to have a win. I would like for this to be like, fucking hell, he fucking
Yeah.
nailed it.
I think it's a win, bro. I think it's a win.
And his whole
I think it's a lot of
thing
wins.
is the art of the deal.
Yeah.
Let's fucking see it, Trumpy.
Yeah.
You're about to have your big deal. Let's fucking do this, cunt.
Yeah.
Probably he's not going to be able to do
Well,
it.
what are you
I
gonna
think he
do
can
though
do
with
it.
nuclear wet? What are you gonna do with them?
No, this is what you say. You say, this is how I'd go in. I'd go into Kim Jong-un. I go, Kim, can I call you Kimmy? Kimster.
No.
Right? Yeah, see, I've already lost the deal. That's why I shouldn't be going.
Yeah.
I'd go, Kimmy, you don't need nuclear weapons. And then he'd say, you're right, Jim. And then the world would be one. Many people say that I'm the John Lennon of my generation.
The thing is though that this is already a win for Kim Jong Un because now he's seen in the same light as like America or like a superpower. That's what he wants.
Like New
He's sitting
Zealand.
down at the table, huh?
Yeah,
Why not? That's like ego.
I think
shit.
he's
Why
fucking
not?
cute,
Because
bruh.
he's a terrible person, Kim Jong Un. That's like
Do you know him?
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
he killed his half brother. He has other people assassinating.
Forrest.
That's not a,
Forrest, are you Dennis Rodman?
No, I mean that's
Then
true.
you
Yeah,
don't fucking know Kim Jong-un.
You guys are right. He is a great person. My
But
bad.
you don't know if he is, man. He might be chill. He has friends that play basketball. He killed his half brother. Who wouldn't do that?
All right,
mean,
I'm gonna ask
with that
you-
outfit, there's no way he's chill. That same outfit he always wears.
Everyone here is a professional entertainer. We all get booked to do live shows wherever we go. Who here would do a live performance in North Korea if the money was right?
Yep.
Straight up, bro.
I think this is the first time that they have someone on the same level of assholery to deal with. I think.
Yeah,
that's why
but
it's
you're very
hard.
tall, Nicole. They're just
Yeah.
bringing you in to pick things off the top shelf.
Yes, thank you.
I
I'd be
mean,
very good at that.
I only do gigs at bars for no money, so I wouldn't do that. I do for the art.
I'd be covert, man. I'd be over there finding out what's going on, getting some low key intel. You know, maybe meeting some chicks and everything, and seeing what's happening socially over there.
I'd go over there and tell him that I was the guy who manages the Golden State Warriors now. Who's he?
Oh my god.
Christopher
Steve Kerr?
Rubin.
Yeah,
No,
I'd
he's got
say
blonde
I
hair.
would say that I'm Steve. They haven't watched a lot. I'd say I'm Steve. I'd say I'm Steve Kerr because Kim Jong Un loves the '90s Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I Steve Kerr the shit up, come over there and go. Oh, I've lost me shot. I had
Why
Tommy
do you say
John
you're Luke
surgery.
Longley? You're Australian, Luke Longley. You got the
John
accent.
This guy sounds
They don't know
awesome.
shit. They don't know shit. I'm a basketball player that had Tommy John
Now
surgery.
you tell him Luke Longley. He's Australian. He was on the Bulls.
Luke Longley's 7 foot tall. They
Yeah,
never
but you
believe
look
that.
7 foot tall to them. They're Korean.
Ah, that's
That's
true.
true.
Yeah.
I'm Luke
That's
Longley.
true.
And you can wear clothes that make you look
Racism.
longer, you know?
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Go on.
My grandfather, he has one shirt he wears, and he looks a lot longer
That's a nice
which is amazing because he's
really
been
broke
dead
it
for
down.
7 years. How the fuck at your age do you still have a grandfather?
Yeah, bro, what are you talking
How
about?
fucking old are you? How
I'm
old are you?
38, bro. I'm an
You're
adult.
38. How old's your
Yeah.
fucking grandfather?
He might be 84. I don't know.
Are you just like a bunch of hillbillies who keep getting knocked up at fucking 16?
Oh, man.
How do you have a grandfather?
That makes sense.
You shouldn't have a grandfather at your age.
Yes, I should, man. Somebody else in here got one, dude.
Yeah, no, that's fine. 38's okay to have a grandfather. You'd be
Yeah,
old, but-
man.
so.
You're using that new Common Core curriculum, bro. You gotta use their old man.
not with the Australian diet. Anyway, so we talked about North Korea. Then in the show, I think this is the next act, we did incels. Now, incels are these people on the internet. Now, one of them was the guy who shot up the people from Santa Barbara who was like, he wasn't a bad-looking guy, but he was just a fucking nerd.
An
Who fucking-
incel, though, is short for involuntary celibate.
Involuntary celibacy. It's
And
an
it's a subculture, and it's like these guys that have not had sex with women, and that women won't have sex with them, so they identify themselves as incels, and they're very misogynistic. They endorse
Because-
violence against women.
That's only because women keep bothering him.
And they resent the fact that women won't have sex with them, so they have this they have all these subreddit chat groups and forums and stuff, and then the guy in
Look,
Toronto.
you know what I will say. I'm going to say this, right? Anyone on Reddit is a fucking loser.
Here, here.
Is a fucking loser. If
put
you
that on Reddit
feel
right now.
no. If you're on fucking Reddit and make a forum right now and discuss what a piece of shit I am, you're a fucking loser.
gotta
If
get
you
out.
feel the need to type to other people about one show, hey, you fucking low life nothing piece of shit.
That's a dark
Your dick
arts.
has not sucked.
And that's a dark arts.
I'm
No,
gonna
I
make a-
don't mind
I'm
if you.
gonna-
I don't
I'm
mind if
gonna
you.
pay-
I don't mind if you comment on a YouTube post or write some shitty thing about me on Facebook. But if you go to Reddit,
Yeah.
if you go to Reddit, that's the slums of fucking humanity.
Yeah.
You're a fucking piece of shit.
It's Johannesburg all over again.
Yeah,
All of the truth.
fucking reassess your fucking life, you nothing piece of fucking nothing.
I agree. Pour your blood out onto the street, you fucking spool.
You know what? And I've had a lot of different PR people in my life, like people who do public relations, and you employ these people. And then this is when I fire my fucking PR people. And if you're listening to my PR people, this is when I fucking fire you. When you've run out of interviews and you've run out of fucking things for me to do, and you go, why don't you do a Reddit Ask Me Anything? You know what? I don't want people to ask me anything. There's things I like to keep to my fucking self.
Can I ask you a question?
Anyway,
podcast. Yeah, you
I've
just say
been
it.
drinking.
Do you want to make a post on Reddit about this?
No,
Just say
fuck
Jim
Reddit.
Jefferies says
Yes.
fuck Reddit.
Fuck Reddit.
right, here we
Fuck
go.
the people on Reddit.
Choose a community.
In fact, I'm going to go as far as say this: if you're
Doing it right now.
if you're related to a person who's always on Reddit, you're a fucking loser through bloodstream.
Yeah.
Again, their blood should be spilling.
Dude, look, they got a lot of bad blood out there, and a lot of people are just closet anarchists. And I
No,
think,
I tell you what's about the people on the bloodstream and the people on Reddit. There's no HIV in it because none of you are fucking.
that's true. Get out there. Get out there, man. When I was young, you didn't get HIV, but you got something, you know?
It's a badge of honor.
You're right. That's why your grandfather's still alive.
Yeah. Bro, they got some diseases out there that'll keep you alive.
I gotta ask, Kerry King, rock god, right? Rock fucking god. How many STDs have you had?
Oh my god, I want to.
How many SUVs?
STDs?
How many SUVs do I have?
2. How many STDs have you had?
Have I had?
2. Now, please tell me. I'm not going to ask which ones they are, but are they all good? They're all good now?
Well, I'm alive. So
Praise the Lord.
Always
there's no threat of me getting knocked off by him.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. So your wife's here. I know you very well. Aisha, how are you? How are you? Good to have you here. Is this the first time you heard about your husband and his STDs?
That's beautiful.
It's love. That's real love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've given out a few, but I've never gotten one.
I don't know how to fucking use Reddit.
Good. That's a good thing.
How the fuck do you use Reddit? I can't post on it. I'm
You
gonna try
have to
like.
show your unused dick for entry.
Well, now this is the thing I have to ask Nicole Arbor about.
Go
What,
on.
what does an unused dick look like?
I wouldn't know. I'm just kidding. So
Ah.
I actually think we can alleviate this problem, and once a year, like the purge, all hot chicks have to go fuck like really unfortunate looking dudes, and then it's like a.
You're called a Stacy, by the way.
Yeah, you're called a
incel.
Stacy in the incel.
In the
You're
incel-
an attractive female.
People that are not incels are called normies, and then good-looking men that have sex with women are called chads.
Cool.
And then the women they have sex with are called Stacys. And for some reason, if you're black and you have sex with women, you're called Tyrone.
That was my
favorite.
that was my favorite
They just
joke.
made it racist.
That was my favorite joke in this week's episode is because black people who have sex are called Tyrones, and white guys who are good looking are called Chads. And we made a joke where it's like, well, why can't the black guys just be called Chad? There's literally a country in Africa called Chad that is filled with Tyrones.
All of the accuracy.
So you really, if there's ever going to be a Chad, it should be a black guy who fucks a lot.
And so
You do?
at the end of this piece, and
My
one of the
friend's
reasons
black.
Carrie is here today, one of the couple of reasons.
Now
I
this
say
is
today.
this is brilliant. Now me and Kerry, we've been friends for about 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
Maybe a year, man.
Maybe
Yeah.
a year, yeah.
Baby.
Kerry comes to my shows, and then he also sends me alcohol through the post, which is cool because he had like
He came to your for your birthday.
yeah, he
in
just
Vegas?
fucking he just
Yeah.
rocks out. He's like. I was
Your birthday celebration in Vegas. Yeah.
Kerry King is maybe one of the nicest, most humble men I've ever met in my entire life, and he's sweet beyond belief for a man who is a fucking rock god, right? And Kerry, you don't want to be a famous friend of mine because if you're a famous friend of mine, I will use the fuck out of you. I have no scruples. If I have a famous friend, you are going to be on my show. I am going to abuse you. So we wrote a sketch where I was thinking like, all these incel people are bitching because women won't fuck them. And I came up with this idea that, well, all you need is a bit of personality. You maybe need a skill. You maybe need something that draws women to you. It's not all about your looks. You have to have a bit of fucking pizzazz, a bit of fucking swagger about you, right?
Special mole.
Right? And then I thought, who do I know that has swagger but isn't particularly good looking? And I went through several of my celebrity friends before I got to you, Kerry. You were number 5 on the list.
That's pretty sweet. I like that.
And so I texted Kerry about a week ago and I said, Kerry, would you be interested in doing a piece? Kerry, without even fucking asking what the script is, you went, sure, I'll do it. And then we wrote a script that started with, Kerry, you're not what many people would call an attractive person.
I think you're hard looking.
I should have said it was debatable.
Yeah, it should have said it was debatable. But Kerry didn't ask any fucking questions and said, no, I'm not what you call that. And then it was a great argument. It was a great argument because you have fucked women in your life.
Yeah, yes.
A couple.
And I don't want to give away everything in your biography, but there's been some men. Have you got a biography?
Huh?
Have you got a
I
biography?
have no intention of making a book about anything.
I'm going to give you a name for it. It's called Head Tattoos and Long Chins.
Long chin.
Because I don't know, because Kerry has a very long goatee, but I don't know if that's a long goatee or he just has a really long chin with stubble on it. Do you have anyone try to ever punch you and miss your chin and just punch the goatee out?
That would be awesome, actually. But no.
I feel like I'm offending everyone right now. Cole, save me. Say something.
Your beard game is so strong. I love it. I want to burrow into it and make a home.
All right,
That's what I'm
Nicole
talking about,
Harbour
man.
wants to bury.
Yeah, it's
Burrow?
really uncomfortable when people
Burrow.
grab it and, you're doing signings or
That's
something.
how I feel about my tits.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Which is
damn.
weird
I got
because
chin
they're
tits,
both
yeah.
hanging at the same level.
Yes.
I think you seem like a handsome guy, bro. I think if you were in a different time period, you'd be like a 9 or 10, like in the
If he was a
1500s.
So which way do I gotta go?
It
1500s.
turns out, it turns out you
1500s, you're
look
10.
like Theo's grandfather.
Who is?
Hey, Theo, was your grandfather still alive? Was he in any wars?
Yeah, he said he was in the war, but he's kind of like one of those, you don't check it, you just believe it.
Which war?
Would you?
Probably 2 or something.
Okay, and probably two.
I don't know. I don't believe in war.
Maybe the next one was your grandfather ever called Hawkeye? it's weird, these like relatives who tell bullshit. Now, my real second name, because I use my middle name as a stage name, my real second name is Nugent, which some people...
Oh my God, I understand why you changed it.
Yeah. But that was before. Now, my father's a bullshitter, right? I have to add this in. My father's a bullshitter. But my father reckons I'm second cousins with Ted Nugent, which is weird because he's the pro-gun guy and I'm the anti-gun guy with the routine and everything. But I may be related to Ted Nugent.
I love
Have you met Ted?
You know, I have not.
Okay,
There's nothing to that story. I've never met the dude.
But can we
see y'all
say
meeting each other.
can we say that Ted Nugent's shit? Like all he's got is cat scratch fever, and the rest of it's fucking rubbish.
Yeah. Cat Scratch Fever's
awesome.
great, though.
He was in the band Damn Yankees, too.
We got a southern guy like, oh no, cat scratch fever was good.
Dude, I remember when I was in
I know
school.
Tommy Shaw, too, and Tommy Shaw's a great dude.
He was in Damn Yankees? Yeah, there you go.
That's gonna be
See?
Theo's
You
wedding
can't just
song.
say that. They all know each other.
They had these two when I was in school. They had these two cute gay gentlemen, and they used to get under the table in the library. And when that song would come on, and they put it on, and then they would fucking kind of touch each other's faces and shit.
Where the fuck?
Okay, wait, okay. We have to fucking back up.
Why, bro? That's
First of all, I feel like you don't know anything about gay sex. If you feel like, and they were touching faces, and they were all getting fucking gayed up in there, they were fucking touching
I didn't
faces.
say that, brother. I said that these two young gentlemen were beautiful young gay gentlemen.
Were they
and
called Bo and Luke Duke?
They were just natural locals, and they got onto this table and put on Cat Scratch Fever, and they would touch each other's faces and kind of scratch each other, and it was awesome.
Your voice is lulling me.
What was that? Was there an audience? What do you mean it was awesome? Like
Yeah.
you were watching two gay guys under a table scratching each other's faces
top of
to
the
catch
table.
Scratch Fever whilst in high school?
Yeah, sound like one of your
Louisiana,
videos.
man.
Sound like
It's a
a
little bit
video.
different
Different
than-
Yeah.
It'd be
A
awesome.
lot better than Degrassi, am I right?
Way better than
Jim
Degrassi.
Jefferies, fuck you. I'm just kidding. Hey, Drake was on Degrassi, and we all love it.
Yeah, Drake said
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about
God's
Drake.
plan.
Anyway, so Kerry King came on and fucking one take King, they call him. One take King.
Now
Because
we-
I take several takes of everything. Kerry took one take. If you're watching the show, he took
Several
one
takes,
take.
Jim.
Where he said, they call me many takes, Jim.
I
Thanks
saw a
for
few
coming
takes,
out,
Jim. I
Jim.
saw a few.
God damn it, Jim.
Yeah.
Fuck
More
that up.
professional.
Yeah,
less
they
drunk.
call me, oh, we're all trying to go home, Jim.
You call me?
Anyway.
Are you fucking kidding me? That fucking you don't know how to say the word the? All right. Anyway, sorry, took
That's
it too
what
far.
most of the women
Well,
say.
Forrest has gotten hurt.
A lot of hotties in here, bro.
Ever since Forrest has gotten a Coke bottle with his name on it, he's got all uppity.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Anyway,
Cry.
He tried to fit the whole thing in his mouth. It was weird.
Yeah, Forrest seems like a
Yeah.
pedophile that never tried, though. You know, I
yeah.
can see that a little bit.
Yeah. You do look like a pedophile that never tried.
I really wish people had
That's-
laughed. It just felt kind of flat. Like
no,
fact.
because it was accurate.
Wikipedia, put that shit in.
It was
Everyone's
accurate.
like, yeah, that checks. Nobody laughed. Everyone's like, oh, this is the
right.
serious part of the
So
show.
we talked about incels. Now we did another piece with Rory Scovel.
Incels bad. In conclusion.
Incels bad. We did a piece with Rory Scovel, comedian, very funny comedian, in the new movie I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer. He's the lead in that. And what
Love
happened was
interest, Amy
Rory Scovel did a piece about the Russian spies and how all the Russian spies at the moment being killed by what we
In England, there's a lot of dying.
what we assume they drop poison in the tea, and what we assume is Putin fucking bumping these cunts off. Roy was very funny, but we look, as a caveat, if you listen to the podcast, you get the inside story and what's happening in the show. We recorded this last week.
Movie magic.
Yeah, we recorded it last week. And you know how we made it all match up? I wore the same outfit and I cut me beard to the same level.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun! Theo's grandfather's still alive. Anyway, so
Let me check the app. We have an app on
The
it.
grandpa app.
your grandfather has an app?
Yeah, it's his own app.
We have a family app. I mean, we have
It's called Prost Wait. I am funny.
that was really good.
Yeah,
Hashtag I am funny.
So anyway, so we did that. It was a funny piece. Rory was outstanding.
Rory actually, you talk to him about the spies
Jack,
dying.
drink me.
And the funny part was, like, as it's going along, you realize Rory's admitting that he's like basically a spy for the government. But then it's a very funny piece. It's We haven't done. I think is that like the first desk
That
piece
was the
we've
first.
done?
That was the first at desk piece where another person sat next to me on the desk that we've actually done this show. We've recorded other things with our writers and stuff like
Did
that.
another one today, yeah.
But we
That
did
was
another one
dope.
today. But that was the first at desk piece that we did with another person on the show, and that was instead of a field piece. We normally have, because we do a field piece, we normally have a credit bed. Now the credit bed is the last 15 seconds of the show that plays over the credits. And this was the first time ever we didn't have a credit bed. And everyone was sitting around yesterday going, what the fuck are we going to do? We don't have anything to play over the credits. This is going to be fucking shitty. And then I said, Kerry King's on. And Kerry King did the whole thing about getting laid because he played guitar. So I said, and I feel so bad about this because he's texts in the room, I think. I said, how about Kerry plays a few power chords? Is that the right term, power chords?
Yeah, that's a term.
Yeah, power chords, death metal type of stuff. Goes, and then when it stops, he just goes, I've had sex, like about the incel thing, right? And so I thought it was very simple, but we had to get a special guitar for you, correct?
Well, your producer didn't try to get in touch with me until I was already in Hollywood.
Yes.
So-
Our,
We came in
our
yesterday,
producer,
so-
Andrew Wontok, who will be fired over this.
So, happened to be, I got a guy that lives in somewhere in Orange County that had one of my guitars on him. I'm like, hey, man, any chance you might come in? Bail me
Because
out.
you have special Kerry King guitars.
Well, but if
You have to.
Bless
You have to
that
play with us.
double.
You're sponsored, right? By the guitar?
if it's my
Yeah.
guitar, I know what it sounds like. If he goes and
Okay.
buys some random one at a music store, I
That's
come
nothing.
in blind.
It's funny because in rehearsal, we were watching you like tune the guitar and set up all the pedals and everything. And it sounded the same to me every time, but I just love that level of professionalism where you were like, not quite right, not quite right, not quite right, I need more fucking this, I need more fucking that. And I get that particular with stand-up where my chair's meant to be, where my microphone's meant to be, where the things are... And so other people don't appreciate what people like you go through for, and I hate to say your art. What's a better...
Why would you hate to say that?
Yeah.
No, I
don't want to call it.
No, I
that,
just.
But I guess
no,
I will.
Just, I just feel like every performer I know, I feel like it's too highfalutin when you say my art or whatever. It feels a bit airy. I hate when someone calls my stand-up my art.
'Cause it's
Yeah,
not.
that's
yeah,
true, yeah.
It's definitely.
No, it's your fucking craft. It's something a bit more edgy about that. It's like fucking art is for like fucking cunts who paint shit and no one buys.
Yeah, there's because there's like government grants for like arts programs. So like,
Yeah,
it
you
never
know what I
goes to
mean?
comedy. There's
You
never that.
do something that's actually important and fucking poignant. And art is shit that fucking cunts do on walls that we have to paint over.
Sure. Okay.
What,
I don't mean any of this.
What's the smallest guitar that you've ever played, Kerry? I'm curious. about
Ukulele. He fucking ukuleles the fuck.
Ukulele?
Do you know? Have you ever seen him do Sometimes Over the Rainbow, Kerry King?
Somewhere.
I was just saying, nuh-uh.
Somewhere?
No, it's a different song.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
different
sorry.
song.
It's a different song to go.
I'm sorry.
Sometimes
How amazing
over
would
my
it be, though?
elbow.
How
Yeah.
amazing would it be if you
Gotta get
just
that clear.
laid into the smallest guitar?
That'd be funny.
I tell you, what's the most? What is a cover that you've once done where people would go, that seems odd?
A cover of a song?
Yeah,
You guys do covers
I'm not
live?
talking about the.
No, not
No,
live.
but like just in your personal life, you're hanging out, we're
Oh my God,
drinking.
Britney Spears toxic. Please say it.
more than words by extreme.
No, it's got to be some goofy guitar riff.
Taylor Swift.
And of course, my wife's not in the room, and I can't even think of these stupid songs.
Does she
Carly
think,
Rae
does,
Jepsen.
does she think of all the songs, man?
Colin,
Some
maybe.
fucking salt and pepper tune. I always do.
Oh my God, yes.
What?
Yeah.
You can do salt and pepper?
Yeah,
Like
'cause
what?
there's
Push
a riff
it.
in it.
Push it real good. Or?
That might be it.
I can't do that. I can't do songs.
Somebody over.
It's gonna be edited.
She'll bring somebody over, and I'll be sitting there playing.
Carrie
guitar.
pushed
She's
it good.
We only
She's
do
like, do that salt and pepper riff, and I'll figure it out in like 15
You
seconds.
fucking love
Can you
your
guys-
wife,
And
man.
we do. I do.
Stairway to Heaven?
The Michael Jackson one that Eddie Van Halen played.
Oh, Molest?
Ah,
bad.
push it real good
No,
Yeah.
bad.
into kids.
Is it?
I think it's bad.
So. I think so.
Oh no, it was on Thriller. It was
You can obviously tell how much. I
God
love it.
damn it.
I gotta tell you, your wife's in the room right
Diana.
now.
I knew that. It wasn't from the peanut gallery. I know things.
What was it?
Dirty Diana.
No.
No, that's not
Why
it.
would you lie to me and make me look stupid?
Beat it. Isn't it Beat It?
Beat it.
Yeah, that's it. Look, I said it was bad. Yeah, that's it. Beat it. Yeah, that's it too.
All right. We're drawing to the end of the episode.
Do you
No,
do
we didn't
Christmas
talk
music ever?
We
Do you
didn't
do a
talk about
Christmas
the
album?
return of our.
Oh! Our
beat it.
weatherman came back. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. Now, our weatherman, we're not meant to say this. This is an inside joke with the rest of the crew and the staff. Our weatherman is Brad Pitt. Now,
You said it on Conan, though.
yes,
I
I
met him one
did.
time.
Now, our weatherman is Brad Pitt. Now, Brad Pitt came in. There's a long story, but I did something for Brad Pitt, and then he said that when I garden. I'm his gardener. Anyway, so Brad said he wanted to do the show, and then we were meant to put him on one episode, and he came in for like an hour, and we used the fuck out of the cunt, man. We made him do so many takes and scripts, and he is. I will say this
to
about.
be fair,
I will say this about Brad Pitt. I know I've met other A-list celebrities in my life. Brad Pitt is the nicest man you will ever meet in your entire life. He's a devoted father. He's a good fucking guy. You can't meet a better human being than Brad Pitt. But I will say this. Not that pretty in real life. Ugly man. If you're really close to him, he looks like a burn victim. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors.
Feel so much better about themselves.
No,
I think he's good.
No. He is, man. I fucking man crushing this cunt so fucking much, man. When he's always like, "Hey Jim, what are we doing? Why are you fucking like that?" And I'm like, "Hey Brad." And me and Brad text like once every 2 months. And like, if I text Brad and then I'm waiting on his text, it's like I have a crush on a girl. I'm like, "Oh, why is she not texting? Maybe she's asleep. Maybe she's thinking." And I check Instagram, and it's rubbish. Anyway, so we recorded this thing with Brad a long time ago, and then we just had it lying on the cutting room floor because we don't use tape anymore. Fucking grow up. Anyway, so we had this clip of him talking about LeBron James that we never used, and now with the NBA playoffs, we decided what we'll do is we'll put the LeBron James clip in, and then we thought, okay, so this is only for people listening to the podcast. We thought people will know that we recorded this a long time ago. So I had this idea that, so it seems relevant and so it seems like we recorded it right now, I'd have Kerry King walk in and try to introduce himself to Brad Pitt. Now, this was obviously in front of a green screen. Now, we did about 4 takes, but your rehearsal take is the one we used.
Huh.
It was maybe one of my favorite things we've ever done in the show.
I didn't realize the context of the show when you were going to do it, and I was watching you when I wasn't doing anything on the stage, and that part came up, and I laughed my ass off.
Oh, good. You were so funny. It was like, "Hey, Brad, I'm a big," and then you're like, "Ah."
Did it feel like you met him whenever you were doing it?
No, I do know what a green screen is. It was bizarre.
Ah,
I
jeez.
just had to stand in the right place.
Jeez, Theo, you just upset Kerry King.
No, he's smiling, huh?
Can't tell in the bid.
Well, there's a baller right here that I'm making big friends with.
Oh, yeah.
And that generally makes me smile, and
Yeah.
good times
Now-
pour out after that.
As with every Jim Jefferies show podcast, it all must come to an
Now,
end.
hold on. I got to
No,
read.
no.
Yeah, huh?
I'll
That's
tell
what I'm
you why
talking
it's
about,
coming to
guys.
end.
Teamwork.
All podcasts end because I need to piss.
Okay, but somebody wrote an email. They want you to hear something. Real
Okay,
quick. Can you
quickly,
wait?
but I really need to piss.
Okay,
Email?
just real quick. Somebody wanted to reach out. They said, on last week's podcast, Jim made a joke that the podcast being the highlight of some people's week, even though he was joking. What he said was actually true for me. I've always had issues with depression, and it's been pretty bad for me recently, but every Wednesday I
That's
look forward to
because you're
listening
not good enough.
I look forward to listening to a couple of half-drunk 40-something-year-olds. Oh, Jesus.
I'm 38.
Yeah.
And I am.
It's one of the few times where I
I'm just
genuinely laugh and
41.
enjoy
I'm in the
myself.
early 40s, not 40-something.
Well, that's it. It's one of the few times in the week
person's
where
an
I
asshole.
genuinely laugh and enjoy myself. Now I know this is kind of sad, blah, blah, blah. But I just thought you should know this because you always try to focus on all these assholes that write
Jesus,
shitty
get to the
comments
knife
and stuff.
swipe. This shit
But
is
but
killing
somebody's
my
had
buzz.
something nice to say instead of just you're a piece of shit. every week.
That's
nice.
very nice of you.
You're helping the world.
Look, everybody, we can all do
Nice
better.
wife.
Follow T5 Transit. I love all my fans except for the ones that look like, and you know who you are.
All right.
Good night,
hey,
America.
everybody. I want to thank Theo Vaughn for being on the podcast. Theo, tell us where people can find you.
You can find. I'll be at Clusterfest as well, actually, June 2nd and 3rd, and you
Nice.
can find me in Calgary, Canada, June 15th and 16th. and a bunch of other places. All the dates at theovon.com/tour.
All right, Nicole, tell them what's up.
I'm all over the interwebs. I be Nicole Arbor on Instagram, Nicole Arbor fans on Facebook, on YouTube, Nicole Arbor, and I have an international tour coming up soon, so check out all my shit.
Carrie, you're huge on Twitter, right?
Oh, I have so much social media. I'm surprised I have time to be here.
You're not on social media at all?
So happy
At
to be
all?
here.
That's
Good for
awesome.
you.
I
All
could
right.
not tell you how to get in touch with me.
Well,
That's
all you got to
awesome.
do is Google Slayer, and then it'll come up.
that's a good start.
That's the good thing about you. Thanks for being on the podcast. Hey, if there's a topic you want to talk about, tweet to us at Jefferies Show. Please subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, everybody, for being on. Jim is gone. All right.
Jim.
Good night.
Thank you very much. My brother and I used to fucking fist fight to your music.
This has been a Comedy Central podcast.
It's all
Made
smoke and
everybody else
mirrors.
feel so much better about themselves.
No, I
think he's good.
No. He is, man. I fucking man crushing this cunt so fucking much, man. When he's always like, "Hey Jim, how we doing? Why are you fucking like that?" And I'm like, "Hey Brad." And me and Brad text like once every 2 months. And like, if I text Brad and then I'm waiting on his text, it's like I have a crush on a girl. I'm like, "Oh, why is she not texting? Maybe she's asleep. Maybe she's thinking." And I check Instagram, and it's rubbish. Anyway, so we recorded this thing with Brad a long time ago, and then we just had it lying on the cutting room floor because we don't use tape anymore. Fucking grow up. Anyway, so we had this clip of him talking about LeBron James that we never used, and now with the NBA playoffs, we decided what we'll do is we'll put the LeBron James clip in, and then we thought, okay, so this is only for the people listening to the podcast. We thought people will know that we recorded this a long time ago. So I had this idea that so it seems relevant and so it seems like we recorded it right now, I'd have Kerry King walk in and try to introduce himself to Brad Pitt. Now, this was obviously in front of a green screen. Now, we did about 4 takes, but your rehearsal take is the one we used.
Huh.
It was maybe one of my favorite things we've ever done in the show.
I didn't realize the context of the show when you were going to do it, and I was watching you when I wasn't doing anything on the stage, and that part came up, and I laughed my ass off.
Oh, good. You were so funny. It was like, "Hey, Brad, I'm a big," and then you're like, "Ah."
Did it feel like you met him whenever you were doing it?
No, I do know what a green screen is. It was bizarre.
Was
I
it?
just had to stand in the right place.
Jeez, Theo, you just upset Kerry King.
No, he's smiling, huh?
Can't tell in the bid.
Well, there's a baller right here that I'm making big friends with.
Oh, yeah.
And that generally makes me smile, and
Yeah.
good times
Now-
pour out after that.
Yay.
As with every Jim Jefferies show podcast, it all must come to an
Now,
end.
hold on. I got to
No,
read.
no.
Yeah, huh?
I'll
That's
tell
what I'm
you why
talking
it's
about,
coming to
guys.
end.
Teamwork.
All podcasts end because I need to piss.
Okay, but somebody wrote an email. They want you to hear something. real
Okay,
quick. Can you
quickly,
wait?
but I really need to piss.
Okay,
Email?
just real quick. Somebody wanted to reach out. They said, on last week's podcast, Jim made a joke that the podcast being the highlight of some people's week, even though he was joking. What he said was actually true for me. I've always had issues with depression, and it's been pretty bad for me recently, but every Wednesday I
That's
look forward to
because you're
listening
not good enough.
I look forward to listening to a couple of half-drunk 40-something-year-olds. Oh, Jesus.
I'm 38.
That make- yeah.
Yeah, and I am.
It's one of the
I'm
few
just-
times where I
I'm just
genuinely laugh and
41.
enjoy
I'm in the
myself.
early 40s, not 40-something.
Well, that's it. It's one of the few times in the week
person's
where I
an asshole.
genuinely laugh and enjoy myself. Now I know this is kind of sad, blah blah blah. But I just thought you should know this because you always try to focus on all these assholes that write
Jesus,
shitty
get to the
comments
knife
and stuff.
swipe. This shit.
But
is
but
killing
somebody's
my
had
buzz.
something nice to say instead of just you're a piece of shit. every week.
That's
nice.
very nice of you.
You're helping the world.
Look, everybody, we can all do
Nice
better.
wife.
Follow T5 Transit. I love all my fans except for the ones that look like, and you know who you are.
All right.
Good night,
hey,
America.
everybody. I want to thank Theo Vaughn for being on the podcast. Theo, tell us where people can find you.
You can find. I'll be at Clusterfest as well, actually, June 2nd and 3rd, and you
Nice.
can find me in Calgary, Canada, June 15th and 16th. and a bunch of other places. All the dates at theovon.com/tour.
All right, Nicole, tell them what's up.
I'm all over the interwebs. I be Nicole Arbor on Instagram, Nicole Arbor fans on Facebook, on YouTube, Nicole Arbor, and I have an international tour coming up soon, so check out all my shit.
Carrie, you're huge on Twitter, right?
Oh, I have so much social media. I'm surprised I have time to be here.
You're not on social media at all?
so
At all?
happy.
That's
Good for
awesome.
you.
I could
All right.
not tell you how to get in touch with me.
Well,
That's
all you got to
awesome.
do is Google Slayer, and then it'll come up.
That's a good start.
That's the good thing about you. Thanks for being on the podcast. Hey, if there's a topic you want to talk about, tweet to us at Jefferies Show. Please subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, everybody, for being on. Jim is gone. All right.
Jim.
Good night.
Thank you very much. My brother and I used to fucking fist fight to your music.
This has been a Comedy Central podcast.
And then it'll come up.
That's a good start.
That's the good thing about you. Thanks for being on the podcast. Hey, if there's a topic you want to talk about, tweet to us at Jefferies Show. Please subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you, everybody, for being on. Jim is gone. All right.
Jim.
Good night.
Thank you very much. My brother and I used to fucking fist fight to your music.
This has been a Comedy Central podcast. This has been a Comedy Central podcast.